Hello, I'm Mike Collins. I'm the founder and CEO of Alumni Ventures. Today we're going to talk about one of AV's big ideas, which is nuclear energy. Um, we're seeing and believe that over the next decade, we're going to have an energy renaissance in the United States, and it's a huge opportunity. And venture is a part of it. The private sector is a big part of it, and we're going to talk briefly about that today. So before we get going, our disclosure, we're speaking today about Alumni Ventures and our views on the associated investing landscape. It's for informational purposes only and is not an offer to buy or sell any security, which is made pursuant to formal offering documents only. So with that, let's talk about it. So just a couple of minutes of background. I started out in the venture industry in 1986 with a firm called TA Associates. My domain is in the area of innovation, technology, venture capital. Created Alumni Ventures about a decade ago with a very simple problem, which is for most retail investors, it's very hard to get access to a large, diversified, high quality portfolio of venture deals. And so my life's work is really to bring that to market. So that's our purpose, my purpose. Next slide, Taylor. So just a little bit about our firm. We're a retail-oriented venture capital firm. We've raised 1.4 billion from almost 11,000 investors. We're one of the most active venture capital firms on the globe. We have 100 employees, about half of which are venture capitalists, headquarters just north of Boston, and we have our investing teams in major venture hubs. Our strategy has worked well. We're now recognized as one of the leading, if not the leading co-investor within the venture space. I think we have a very strong reputation among lead investors and among founders to really kind of fight above our weight, provide disproportionate value for the check size. We have a philosophy we call kind of the favorite aunt or uncle, which is we leave our portfolio companies alone except when they need our involvement and help, in which case we really lean in and try to be value add. So we've been recognized pretty broadly for our role in the ecosystem. And we did something relatively new this year. We've taken 50 of our companies and created what we call the Apex 50. It just can be a little overwhelming to talk about over 1,000 active portfolio companies. So we try to make it easy for people to give a sense of the diversity and quality of the kinds of deals we do. This is just so you can see the Apex 50 on our website, and just some of the companies like Rock, Aura, Sleeper, Yasser, Circle, Lambda, Blue Sky, Rigetti. These are companies many in the industry have heard of and are doing pretty interesting work, and we're super proud to be investors in these companies and to spotlight them. So we have a pretty good access point. Again, we're pretty highly thought of. People can do their own research. This, I think, is noteworthy from CB Insights, kind of ranking top venture investors. They have a bunch of criteria. We're pretty proud to be in the company of these kinds of groups. And it really reflects the fact that we co-invest with them. So next slide. So as a co-investor, you can see here the list of companies we most commonly co-invest with. Very well-heeled group. And we're pretty proud of the relationships we have with our portfolio companies and these firms. And we have, again, a pretty large, diverse team. I'll make note of the fact that, again, we have 10 investing teams of 3 to 5 people that make independent investing decisions. We think that that's super powerful. Many of the great investments, are controversial in the early days, frankly. And it's nice to have different teams looking at things differently, geographically spread out, having different verticals they focus on, having just different styles and strengths and weaknesses. So we think that that's really important. And that's really reflected here. So these people get up every day trying and working hard to get access to amazing deals. So we see a lot of deals every month. We invest in several hundred a year. And we are, as I mentioned, one of the most active venture firms in the United States. So let's talk about nuclear. Okay, so nuclear has been one of the most poorly marketed brands, I think, over the last 50 years. If you really look at alternatives for energy, clean, reliable, low land use, concentrated economic benefits, it just competes really, really well with a lot of other forms of energy. And obviously we're talking fusion and fission here. We're big bettors, big investors in both technologies. We also are strong believers that energy is a huge bottleneck and correlated really strongly with opportunity, economic growth at kind of all stratas of the economy. So again, you can look historically to the importance of energy and energy technology. Our view is fossil fuels, renewables, nuclear, yes, yes, yes. So all of the above, please. And we invest in all in the bones, infrastructure, really along the technology stack. We just think, people talk about AI, people talk about robotics, people talk about innovation in the life sciences, but there's innovation taking place in other areas, space and energy. And energy is an important part of a well-diversified venture portfolio. There's great things coming. Okay. Just order of magnitude, big opportunity. There's already public companies in this space that are unicorns. We have the big brains, the big tech companies signing 9-figure deals in energy. I think the American society gets it. I think there has been a phase shift in thinking about the need for energy, the importance of it for society. I think there's also been a switch in kind of the public's view of nuclear, understanding that there's no free lunch, there's trade-offs. We're not going back and we need more. So we think it's very investable. Clearly, there are some drivers here. There's things going on in blockchain. There's things going on in AI. The way to get this in a distributed fashion, yes, there's workload management. There's a smarter grid. But there's also been huge technology improvements that have taken place over the past 50 years. This is not the same as building a nuclear facility in 1972. We've made a lot of progress, and we think it's all in a really important part of the energy picture. So, and we think that there are huge tailwinds, public perception, government, private sector, the need for AI, people, the private sector willing to pay for it. I think we're going to see big movement over the next 5 or 10 years in this space. We're behind. I think a clear-eyed version of this is, especially if you look at China and India, their nuclear capacity under construction is dwarfs what we're doing. So again, I think China, this is one area where we're behind. China in particular is energy. They're doing, again, all of the above, but nuclear, the things that they're building, and the pace that they're building it, dictatorships have, unfortunately, some advantages, and they, if they decide they're going to go build, X kilowatts of nuclear energy facilities, they just kind of make it happen and do it. I think we're going to start catching up, but it's going to take the private sector, it's going to take innovation, it's going to take public-private partnerships. But I think it's coming and is very much needed. Yes, they have a larger population, but we have huge energy appetite in the United States. So energy directly related to national security. AV has a fund, a strategic tech fund. So this is people who are very interested in investing in domestic chip manufacturing, AI, energy, cybersecurity, drones, things that we think are important to the strategic positioning of the United States. And clearly, this report was generated by our strategic tech team. So we think that this is front and center to US strategic tech. I'll just point to one important kind of technology change, which is small modular reactors. So these, the quick analogy is this is like building a modular home where you're centralizing the construction at a facility versus kind of a custom on-site approach, which was very common 50 years ago. So, it really cuts cost and time meaningfully. It creates much more density. You can put these up in more places. So the whole idea is instead of putting up one mega nuclear facility, you put up, dozens and hundreds of these small modular reactors. And again, one measure of efficiency is kind of land space efficiency, where these SMRs do way better. So I think, this is one of the areas that we believe in, we're investing in, we've backed some companies in this space, and we and other smart money are starting to see some traction take place with these things getting up and off the ground. So how can we compete? I think this is an important question. Clearly we have a very strong technology infrastructure. We lead the world in innovation, patents. Again, I don't have to sell the US venture economic engine. We have supply chains, we have talent. We are starting to get kind of government behind these initiatives. Big tech is not waiting around, it is doing it on their own. Energy innovation is in our DNA. I think we perhaps lost our way a little bit, and frankly that it's long overdue for us to get back into this space. And I think it's coming. So we put our minds to it. We will do really well here if we kind of unleash the venture capital, private sector bazooka on this problem. So again, I could break this down, but at a high level, we definitely are investing in direct technology, infrastructure. So this is the picks and shovels, grid systems. We just made an investment yesterday in a company that deals in this space with kind of a platform system. Um, Again, there is a lot of layers to this tech stack, including things related to kind of financing, training, safety, the boring stuff that where you can make a lot of money and really work with whoever wins the bid, if you will. So we like, again, investing kind of along the stack when we're talking about a big technology like this. And one of the things to understand about Alumni Ventures is our teams are very T-shaped, meaning we're all generalists. We stay flexible, but we have a team that is really leaned into the kind of the fission and fusion space and really has been recognized within the industry as, one of the top players in the space. So we're frequent panelists, we host events, we lead meetups, and this allows us access to the most competitive deals in the space. So because we're not a lead, because we co-invest, we play nice with everybody. So we're really a good player to host these kinds of events, these meetups, bringing together investors and entrepreneurs. And I think our reputation in the nuclear space puts us at the table with the leading players who are investing in America's nuclear future. So credit to the team. So again, I encourage people to visit our website, check out our companies. These are just three. And you can kind of see who we're co-investing with. Some of these names you'll recognize, some of these names you have to be in the space to recognize. But we're players. And these are just three examples of companies that we just wanted to highlight, bringing it to life for people. But encourage you to kind of check out our strategic tech portfolio, our Apex portfolio, go onto our website, search nuclear, fusion, fission, and you'll see the breadth and depth of our investments in this space. So I think that there is, a real window here. I think so. You don't really try to time markets. You try to invest in great teams on long-term trends. But I think that there is a sense of urgency among people in the know about where we are and where we need to get to in nuclear. And again, I think we are not doing everything we need to do. And I think that, the next 3 to 5 years are going to be pivotal for us to kind of do what we want to do in technology and other parts of innovation. We need energy. So I think that we are cautiously optimistic that the next 5 years are going to be a renaissance in American nuclear energy. But if you look at these charts, not what it needs to look like, but not too late. Yeah, and so we'll wrap up. Again, this is just kind of the tie between the space, the opportunity, the AV engine, and then how do you invest in it? If you're happy with kind of your private energy portfolio, you can kind of tune off. If you think maybe this is an area that you want to invest more in, I just encourage you to stay tuned for just a couple more minutes. So one thing we find, and I think this brings it home, is among our customers, we have a variety of personas. people that are in this because they're in the space, they love nuclear, they're a tech enthusiast, they love learning. You have people who are new to venture capital and are just looking for a well-diversified portfolio, and this would just be a small sliver of it. We also have people who have done really well financially, professionally in their lives and are looking to kind of pay it forward to the next wave of entrepreneurs. They're concerned about what they leave their kids and their legacy for future generations, and they believe that our energy needs to innovate and evolve. We also have people that are on the other end of the spectrum who are really interested in ROI and alpha and hitting home runs, and they see the size of these opportunities as great potential, and they want kind of big risk, big return bets. And then you have the very conservative, planner who just looks at their entire life financially and their portfolio, and they recognize that a lot of value is being created in the private sector and that they need to not just wait for companies that go public to participate. So they're looking for this as an appropriate sliver of a well-diversified portfolio. The bottom line is AV works with all of these personas, and we have funds and products and approaches. We like actually having a plan with our customers, so we encourage you to talk to us. So with that, we do open up our webinars for some questions. So I'll read a few of those and just quickly try to answer them. What advantages does the U.S. hold in nuclear energy? Listen, I think it's the innovation side of the equation. I think we have great ideas, great innovation, an economic system that rewards entrepreneurship and new approaches. So I think we want to lean into, innovation. Some of these things like we're seeing with the SMBs and SMRs, I think are examples of this kind of innovative approach. So I think, scale is not the way we play. Innovation is the way we play. Entrepreneurship is the way we play. And if you look at how successful we've been in other areas of technology, I think you want to play to your strengths. So let's do that in the United States, and that means venture capital and entrepreneurship. Obviously, this is energy. This is a social good. So really strong partnerships necessary with regulators and considering other stakeholders for sure. But we want to lean into our strengths. Next question. How about the public perception, information, misinformation about nuclear? Again, I think progress has been made. I think there is a more diverse locations where people get their information. And I think we're starting to see, regardless of one's kind of political affiliation, kind of some coalescing around the importance of energy. And, you're going to have different camps have their favorites, but I think there's a chance for kind of nuclear 2.0, fission and fusion, to develop a coalition that, we need to act and act boldly. How has AV positioned itself to invest in this sector? I think I talked about this a little bit. We have a team that, probably has one of the best reputations, definitely has the best reputation as kind of one of the top co-investors in the space. We probably have made 30 to 50 investments, depending on how you define it. So we're players for sure. And when you're in the space and know people and have a portfolio, and there's a new company that you really want to get into, you just kind of can share some names, share your portfolio, and that usually gets you in. So Yeah, those are some of the questions today. Again, if this is interesting to you as a sector, if you believe in it, if you want to act on it, we strongly encourage you to talk to somebody. I'll just mention kind of three of our funds in particular. Our strategic tech fund, I talked a little bit about where this is clearly in the remit of that fund. Energy is clearly a strategic asset to the United States. We also have people on this call who are maybe new to venture capital, in which case I'd probably recommend something a little less narrow. And our foundation fund, which is kind of a completely diversified venture portfolio, which is a great place for new VC investors to start. Clearly, all the investments will be led by really strong lead investors, but it's going to be diversified by sector, stage, vertical market, et cetera. And again, if this is just you're more of a tech enthusiast and you just love the idea of having a portfolio of really amazing teams tackling really hard problems in all sectors of the economy, I would recommend our deep tech fund. Clearly, there are areas of energy that are more execution blocking and tackling, and then there are other areas that are more cutting edge, where it's a strong technical team tackling a really tough problem, and that's really where our very popular deep tech fund exists. So those are three ideas for funds you might want to check out. But again, encourage you to get in contact with us. We like creating plans with our investors. So we look forward to chatting with you. And hopefully there was a few nuggets today for you to take away. Thank you.